There is a very predictable pattern with businesses, and when you can spot it, you'll get better deals, buy better products, and get ripped off less. Save money, live better, as my good friend Mr. Wall would say. What I'm talking about is the progression of a business along its lifespan from early and messy startup onto great value, then the decline to total garbage late stage before its inevitable death. What? My beloved Microsoft and Amazon are going to die? Yeah, eventually. Just take a look at Sears, Kodak, and Circuit City. Top of their fields at one point, very much gone now. It's not a given that companies continue on forever. We can cry about that later. For us, we should be buying in the sweet spot where you get the absolute best value and avoid the company at all other times, and we'll make out like bandits. Here's what I'm talking about. In the beginning, you have the kinky stage. These are the early products, often with issues or not quite the right product figured out. Next is the emerging stage. Here you have high value, but the hidden gem problem. I'll explain that in a second. After this comes the mature stage. Here we see prices increase, quality decrease, and the value starts to erode as a result. Maturity turns to late stage. This is the total poop part. You would hardly find anyone being attracted by this, but many people get stuck staying loyal to a brand all the way here. In the beginning, a company will start out, launch its first product, and try to prove itself. It will offer good value because it literally has to in order to get noticed and gain market share. If the product offering sucks, the business won't ever get fully off the ground. But if it does get going, it's going to offer great value in its early stages. Next comes the emerging stage and the best value. The early issues have been sorted out. The company has resources to make the products great, but there's just one problem, the hidden gem problem. What if you don't know about this company yet? Because they're young and small, it's a challenge to even find them. Everyone knows Pepsi and Nike, but what about that drink company that sells in just one state? Or that sports brand with amazing shoes and great prices, but it's only word of mouth that has grown it so far. If you find this company at this stage, you've won. Enjoy the awesome products that come with good prices. More likely, though, we'll hear about the companies when they've already entered the mature stage. If they're still early on in this stage, like here, the value may still be pretty good. But watch out, the decline of the company, from our standpoint as buyers, has already started. So this isn't a video about when in the year to buy stuff. We know sales, like Black Friday and Prime Days, are all too often just schemes to get us to buy more, while they play tricks on us with the pricing. This is instead about when in the company's whole life cycle we are going to get the best value and the best price. Let me demonstrate this typical lifestyle path with Facebook. It started out as a university-only platform. You needed an EDU email to join, it was clunky and lacked features, and it didn't yet have its biggest value, the network of lots of users already on the platform to connect with. But it was great and it was fresh. Next, it went to growing fast and being an exciting place, connecting with all your friends and new people you met on a sleeker platform built for the users. The value is sharply rising until it reaches its peak. Ads are minimal, the front page newsfeed works for the user, you can see and share effectively with your Facebook friends, etc. The platform then moves to refined and totally mainstream. You can upload pictures and videos, shop locally, and join so many groups. But the value now starts to slide because the user experience is getting worse and worse with the changes to the algorithms to promote attention and watch time versus human connection, and ads and spam get added into every little corner of the platform. Finally, we move to the late stage, to monetizing the ever-living crap out of every user, to dead space as an AI slop, and a plummeting user base. The real users, I mean. But it's great that we now have unlimited AI bots to spend our time with. I think I got a good 10-year run out of Facebook, from 2007 to about 2017. It helped me connect with people I didn't see every day, I stayed in touch with new university friends, and there was lots to see from my network. And Facebook Marketplace. Of course, they were monetizing my posts and pictures all along, but I got enough value from the platform to stay. But today, it feels like if you're unfortunate enough to grin and bear it on the homepage timeline, you're just bombarded with ads, viral video nonsense, and AI-generated garbage. Online platforms like Facebook also suffer from enshittification, a term so lovingly coined by Cory Doctorow in 2022. That's where a good site turns on its users first, extracting all the money it can from them, then turns on its business partners, those paying for the ads, then it eventually dies. But what matters to us here is just the value that we get as customers. But you know the saying, if it's free, you're the product, not the customer. So I guess I was never really a customer of Facebook, just a user, as if it were a street drug. So we could do the whole inspection of Facebook from the other side, from the actual customer side as a business advertising on the platform. And it follows the same path. Just ask some early entrepreneurs like Ty Lopez how great the value was when Facebook advertising was still a hidden gem. But that's a whole other story. We could also look at Lululemon and Arc'teryx, both clothing giants founded in Vancouver where I grew up. Early stage, they're trying to make a name for themselves. Manufactured locally in Vancouver with an incredible warranty and great value. Then we get consistently rising prices, but the value is still great. Have a problem, any problem with the leggings or jacket you just bought? Just bring it to the store, no questions asked, and they'll replace it for you. They stand behind their product every time. And come on by the factory in your neighborhood because they design and produce everything right there. Next comes the mature stage, expanding into new products that may not be their circle of expertise, producing huge quantities and widening profit margins by raising prices further, lessening their warranties, decreasing quality and quality control, and with this they're moving away from their peak value. I don't blame them. They're companies. The name of the game is to make money, and they do this by monetizing all that they have. Loyal customers, great reputation, and strong brand equity. The point is to turn all of that into money eventually, and we'll get into all that a bit more. But first, this video is sponsored by your local food bank. Do they have money to give me for promotion purposes? No, absolutely not. But are they 100% worth promoting? Absolutely. If you're in a position where you can support your local food bank and provide those in need in your community with meals, please consider it today. And a friendly, important reminder, if you're considering giving, it's more effective to directly give money to your food bank versus giving them food items. First, because they can buy in bulk and through partnerships, they can buy the same food you do, often for 1/4 the cost that we would pay at a grocery store. And second, they know the needs of the community best. So if you provide money, they can buy the exact items they're short on and that people need most. Thanks so much for your consideration. Back to the video. Another all too typical path in the business life cycle is when the founders cash out and sell out. When is the best time to go public with an IPO? That is, to list a company on a stock exchange and allow others to buy shares from the founders? Well, it's when a company is dominant, on the up and up, and they have strong loyal fans who will go with them. That's you and me, the suckers, if we aren't careful. And what happens when a company goes public? Long-term planning is swapped for short-term money-making. How can we increase profits this quarter becomes the guide, instead of how can we continue to make products we love and that people love. Because when a company goes public, the owners change. It's not the founders or the people who have been with the company for a long time anymore. Now it's nameless and faceless shareholders that want to make more money, or they'll sell their shares and move on. And it's always the same game plan for management. People like our stuff, so let's test the limits of their price elasticity. How much can we raise our prices by where people will still keep buying and our profits go up? And how can we incrementally save money on production, i.e. slowly making things worse, where people won't notice too much or get too offended and buy the alternatives? It's not necessary for a company to go public for it to slide from the high value hidden gem stage down to mature at lowering value, but it certainly helps speed up the process. Or in comes private equity, a team of MBAs, and the company is gutted of all it's got except the golden goose that will keep laying eggs. The goose that hasn't quite been exploited enough yet. That's often the brand equity and huge loyal fan base. Private equity comes in, gets rid of all that baggage, that's, all those pesky employees who cost a lot of money, and the designers and quality control teams that keep the product great, and they start cranking the money dials. How can we minimize all of our costs? And how much can we raise the price by to generate as much money as we can until the goose dies and we move on? I think about Blundstones and their boots here. A quick look on the Wikipedia page and thank goodness it's still private. Because boy oh boy is that a case of a loyal fan base and a golden goose. As soon as my pair of Blundstones wears too much, I think it's already been 8 years now with mine, I will drive to the store and buy another pair. That is, unless I see they've gone public or been acquired by another firm. They'll start that fast slide into garbage as soon as they're not controlled by the founding family anymore. Because I know either they'll get way more expensive than they already are, eroding the value to me, or they'll find ways to subtly make the quality worse by cutting corners. It's a given, because what does an outside investor want? More money. How much more? More. And more specifically, more than all the other investment options they could have chosen. So the outside buyer will pay good money for a great brand and try to turn that brand power into cash for themselves. Slowly but surely. It won't be about the legacy. It won't be about putting the customers first. It'll be about maximizing their investment. And this is so often different from a founding family or passionate owners who make a great product and make their riches. I'm not against capitalism. If a founder makes something great and sells boatload after boatload of boots or watches or drinks, and they get incredibly rich from it, that's great. And so often that's enough for them. But when you get an outside investor now buy that company, it's all about more money. Where this has hit home for me is professional sports. Sure, yeah, it's always been big business, but when passionate owners are replaced by fragmented private equity ownership, the love of the game doesn't just take a back seat, it's kicked out of the car. There's a good June Lee video showcasing this decline in the Boston Red Sox. All the loyal fans who have stood by the team and company for years are the easiest ones to exploit. It's an insightful video, it's frustrating, give it a watch, but you might get a little more angry and maybe pull back a bit from your local team that isn't putting you first. You've been warned. So here it is again. A company will start up, it will have to deal with growing awareness and market share, and will have to work out the quality kinks toward making the product great. At this point, it'll be the absolute best value to customers. From here on, it enters a mature stage where it turns brand equity into money for itself and will start to maximize profitability literally at the expense of the customer. Value slowly slides down and down and down, and at some point should no longer be worth it to you. You should jump ship and now go find your best value somewhere else. And somewhere in this mature stage, often the company sells out to investors or may get bought out entirely. This is pouring gasoline into the jet engine that's driving it straight down into the garbage pile. Now here's the best part about this framework. You don't need to be as clever as these MBAs driving these companies to late stage garbage. You don't need to know how they're maximizing profits and decreasing the quality. You just need to know that it is always being done. And you can steer yourself clear once you spot this in a company. Is that one store the only place you can buy great quality jackets or the only brand you can get well-priced, long-lasting makeup from? No. It may have been the best at one point, but if you see it slidden so far for you and the value isn't there anymore, we live in a market economy and you should go find your next favorite brand and enjoy it too while it lasts. And this all ties into late-stage capitalism, crony capitalism. The powers that be, the big money, want to consolidate that power more and more, buying up smaller companies, using monopoly power to push out competition, and to lobby governments in their favor, and running all these companies down and down until they're a terrible value for us. But we get a vote with our wallets. If we know this pattern of consolidation of companies and then monetizing it while trying to get as much money from us as possible, and if we work to avoid it, that is helping to push the market more into balance and boost competition. There's a whole lot wrong with capitalism as we see it today, but this is one small way we can help make our economies more fair and more efficient, and ultimately work better for us. One last thing to look out for, we're describing a business from its early life to its late stages in death, where it's total garbage and you want to avoid it. But what about a new brand from an existing company? What came to my mind was the launch of Threads from Facebook. They know how to grind a social media platform into the ground, so I'm sure they put tons of resources behind making Threads a great user experience. It's a sure thing that they'll speedrun their way to late-stage garbage that we see with Meta's other platforms. When a new brand pops up from an already big company, they'll likely play the same game, just faster this time. So you can investigate and see if there's good value at the right time for you right now, but be warned. Any great deal you see is bound to go away much faster with brands like this. What also comes to mind is brand tying, and we see this from social media influencers. They launch a new company because they already have the audience and say, hey, I made this, you trust me, right? You like me, so you'll like and buy these things, right? What I can say is be careful, because they can skip the early market growth, high value stage that we want. This is because they already have the loyal fan base who will buy from them, and they're typically just working this new product to monetize the audience and loyalty. Is it actually a good product? Is it good value? Maybe, maybe not. They don't need to provide good value though, so it makes business sense for them to charge more or put out something lower quality, or both. Additionally, it's a new product, so they may be working out the early kinks and quality control on top of all of this. So if you're buying the first run limited drop, you may get stuck with a bad value, kinky product from someone you like listening to online, but has no business selling makeup or clothing or gadgets to you. Oh, another one I actually want to add on too. YouTubers. Not those in it just for the fun or enjoyment of making content, but those who shift to turning their channels into a business. Nothing wrong with that, but something to be mindful of. You'll probably notice YouTubers and podcasters and all those trying to make a buck online follow the same humble beginning up to great quality, then ultimately down to monetizing everything and becoming total garbage trend. Like, since when did podcasts start having ad breaks longer than we used to have on cable TV? Thankfully, this isn't all of them though. There are some real gems out there, the non-sellouts, and that's great. And there's probably some middle ground where a YouTuber incorporates some ads. Most people have to earn some money after all, but beware the overall trend. If you found this video helpful, that's great too. I'd love it if you're able to apply this concept to your life and your spending to save money and get better value. If you thought this was a good video or not, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up or down. That helps me improve. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you have a great one.